What's up, guys? Welcome to You Ain't Grizz Baby podcast, episode number 4. My name is Dunkus, and the rest of the crew is going to go ahead and introduce themselves.
What's up, guys? My name is Bendro.
My name is John. Fuck.
What? My name is Hutch.
You never
And
What the fuck was that?
You never saw FPS Doug? He's like, what's up? I'm Doug. Fuck.
Goldglove cannot join us tonight. He is preoccupied, but he's with us in spirit.
Right.
He's with a lady of some sort.
Yeah, that's what we hear, but it's kind of a rumor.
Not so sure.
I met Goldglove at PAX.
Did you touch him in his bathing suit area, or what?
No, I wanted to, but we were on the show floor, and I don't know. I feel like it would have been awkward if I was like poking at his junk.
Yeah.
He's a sexy little boy. He's like 5'10", just figurine body. Just want to lather him up in mayonnaise and have my way with him.
Mayonnaise is disgusting. Miracle Whip's better.
Mayonnaise on French fries is so delicious.
That's the most disgusting thing I've
my
ever
God.
heard. That is fucking disgusting.
What? Are you being serious with that?
I'm being dead serious. My old roommate, his special ingredient for everything he cooked was mayonnaise. If he was like cooking chicken with asparagus, he would throw mayonnaise on it. If he was cooking pasta, he would throw literally he put mayonnaise in everything. Macaroni and cheese,
Is this Marty?
whatever. No, this is another guy named John who you would get along with John. Wow, you're both named John, and you both have really similar taste in humor. Like your Wonder Balls video, he does comedy music, and I immediately thought of him when I saw that.
Marty
Good talk.
I was thinking Marty when you're talking about people who can cook, because Marty looks real artsy. He looks like he'd be a hell of a chef.
Marty does cook, actually. Marty is he's in like a diet program because he's constantly like he'll like gain weight and lose weight and gain weight and lose weight, and like normally he looks like totally healthy. Every once in a while he balloons up though and goes on a diet, and it's a fucking Nazi diet. Like he has to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning every morning and cook all of his meals for that day. And he has to portion them out exactly to like the like milligram of how big they should be, and it's intense.
Fuck that.
Thank God I don't have to worry about that.
I don't know, Bendro couldn't gain weight if he tried.
I actually took weight gaining pills for a long time because they were so worried about my weight because I couldn't put on weight.
I was a wrestler in high school, so I was 112 pounds my senior year in high school. And then as soon as the wrestling season was over, I could stop watching my weight because like I'd wrestle in high school and shit. And then within 6 months of quitting wrestling, I shot up to 170. So I gained like 60 pounds in 6 months.
Oh wow, Bendro, you don't look that skinny in your picture.
I am. I have chubby cheeks. Like a squirrel, I guess you could say.
Cabbage Patch Kid. You look like a Cabbage Patch Kid.
Yeah, but I'm 6'3", 180, and most of the time... Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, most of the time I have really long hair, so people just call me a string bean or whatever tall, skinny joke you can come up with.
I'm 6'3" and I'm 150.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Yeah, true story.
How much of the weight's in the crotch?
It does make my cock look huge. Like, it's not gigantic or anything like that, but it gives off. It's like an optical illusion, as Ron Burgundy would say. But it works for me. It gets me compliments, so I like being skinny. It's working out for me so far.
I know Ben in real life, and every time we play golf and he's wearing shorts, I'm just in awe of how skinny his chicken legs are. They're like my wrist, basically. His ankles are like my wrist. It's ridiculous. It's like I could go up and break his leg with the flick of my wrist.
It's a vagina. We get it. All right, so on topic, I think we wanted to talk about reach and how much of an erection it's given everybody. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That sounds about right to me.
I'd just like to start it off and say, damn you, Hutch, for getting to play that early. You have no idea how jealous I was seeing that.
Oh, man.
And that live stream, too. God.
Yeah. We got to play I think I already mentioned it, but we actually got to play the game a month before the beta came out, too. It was like pre-beta build, so it was a little different. But that's like one of the cool perks for working for gaming media is that you get to play shit early. Got to play Black Ops early too, but we can talk about that. I want to know what you guys think about the gameplay that you saw.
You want to start with Reach or Black Ops?
No, let's start with Reach. I'm curious to see, like, because I've already talked about it a bunch. I just want to know what you guys, in particular, what do you guys like about the game, and what do you guys, if anything, what do you guys dislike about the game or wish that they would change?
First off, the first thing I noticed was how easy it was to control compared to Halo 3. Because it's not like Halo 3 was as bad as Battlefield Bad Company 2 with how loose the controls were. But it was a lot worse than Call of Duty, obviously. And Halo Reach is really almost as good as Call of Duty, not quite there, because it doesn't run 60 FPS. It's not as smooth, but it is quite smoother than Halo 3. And that's the first thing I noticed right when I jumped in. It's a lot easier to control, a lot easier to really, like, I don't know.
Definitely.
The frame rate improvement was the biggest thing for me, because that's why I didn't play Halo 3. It was like a fucking slideshow. It was like a little flip book animation.
Halo 3 was good before Call of Duty 4 came out.
Yeah.
Are you sure that they changed the frame rate for Reach? Because are you sure, dude? Because I think it's still 30.
It might be 30, but it's probably the engine then. Because what you can do like with certain games, you can program the engine to be smoother at a certain frame rate. But Halo 3's engine was programmed for 60 frames a second, but they capped the game at 30, so it felt choppy. Whereas there's games like Deus Ex, for instance, is an old PC game I used to play. The engine was programmed for 30 frames a second, so when you played at 30 frames, it felt like I was playing Call of Duty.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't know if you guys
knew
I
don't know the first... go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't know if you knew, Halo 3 actually ran at 640p, and it wasn't even a full 720, so that might contribute to why it felt so weird, but I don't know why they programmed it like that and set up the engine that way, but it was running at 640p, so it's kind of weird.
And Halo 3 had a great engine overall, but that just that little tiny error and it pissed me off and I couldn't play it.
It's funny because I talked to Walshy about it and I asked him, I said, is it my TV? Is it my controller? Because I don't feel a complete one-to-one when I play Halo 3. I mean, do you have the same problem? And his response was, no, that's got to be your TV or controller because it feels totally fine for me. I don't think that's the case. I honestly think that he's been playing
that's what they're used to.
Halo for so long that's what he's used to. That would be my guess because I really don't feel a complete one-to-one when I play Halo 3. But I tend to agree with you. Reach feels a lot better, and I think part of the reason is because the BR mechanic was that there was some random spread within your reticle. Mm-hmm. And now with the DMR, it's like, well, they took all the feedback I'm guessing that they took all the feedback that they got from people complaining about how kind of like wish-washy the BR could be sometimes and how it was pretty inconsistent. And they turned around and said, well, let's just get rid of the spread altogether and just make a semi-automatic gun. And so now when I get a hit, like Trump was complaining last night because he said that the DMR didn't feel like the hit detection was quite right, but what do you guys think? Because I don't have any problem with that.
I think the hitboxes are correct now, and that's what makes it feel different. Because he's been playing Halo 3 for so long.
I think this helps correct for lag, or if you don't have the best connection. Because I know in Halo 3, like if you don't have a good connection, or you can't connect to the host as well as somebody else, you can get just dominated. And it seems like in Reach that I don't have that same problem.
Yeah,
the network engine's probably much improved.
Yeah. Well,
I played some.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I insist.
All right, a couple other things about Reach. First of all, I'm a computer graphics guy. Like that's what I went to school for, and the graphics for Reach just absolutely blew me away. Especially Ivory Tower. I've been playing Halo ever since Halo 1, so like I played Halo 2, which is what Ivory Tower is from. And the remake of it is just, it's absolutely gorgeous. And so visually, the game blew me away. Secondly, I'm glad that the Halo pistol is finally back and it actually means something. Because in both Halo 2 and Halo 3, like the pistol was absolutely worthless. And now it does the same exact damage as the DMR. It just doesn't have, it's not as effective as at long range. So those are two things I'm really happy about and got me going.
I asked a developer at PAX, I asked a Bungie developer if they changed anything significantly from the beta, and he said that they changed two things, like, significantly that you can notice, like, just basically if you play the beta, and now if you're playing the full retail game, you should be able to notice. First one being that the nades, the radius are substantially less, and the splash damage is reduced too. A bunch of people were complaining about nades in this game, and they're a little bit more than Halo 3, but I don't think they're that bad.
They're not. You played Call of Duty 4. That's why they're not bad, do you?
I mean,
I
are
don't
they
think they're
bad
bad
to
at
you?
all. No, they're not bad compared to the
they're
beta.
not.
The beta was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
But I'm saying, like, if from a Halo person, if you came from Halo 2 and then played Halo 3 and then went to
Yeah.
Reach, it seems significant.
Yeah, it's a huge leap for sure. I mean, they were trying to change the game fundamentally because you're not playing as Master Chief. You're playing from an earlier model, but the way that translated into the game mechanics, especially with the nade damage during the beta, just didn't really work that well. The other thing that they said that they changed was the pistol. The pistol before, if you remember rapid firing the pistol, it would bounce up a little bit. So it was like the Deagle in Modern Warfare 2, where if like the more you sprayed, the higher up your reticle would end, and so you'd end up with this like vertical line of bullet holes on a wall. They said they got rid of that because before, like the pistol, it was actually you were actually getting headshots a lot easier unintentionally because it would bounce up to the opponent's head eventually. Mm-hmm. And so now the pistol fire doesn't have that same kind of recoil on it. I fucking love the pistol in that game. Yeah. I think it's great.
I use it more than I use the DMR most of the time. If I'm medium, like close to medium range, I'm pulling out my pistol because the bloom's not as hard for me to handle. Like I can't handle the bloom on the DMR. I lose it.
You know what it is though, dude? You really just got to train yourself to let that reticle reset. I know it goes against like everything you've learned from using a Magnum in Modern Warfare 2 or a Deagle in COD 4 where you just pop, 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 pop. But the DMR, like you really, there's a cadence to it. You know, you have to respect that bloom and let it let it reset. Even if some dude's charging you with an AR, you just have to like know in the back of your head, I can kill him faster than he can kill me, even as he's just spamming me with an AR right now. If you just let that thing reset, like I don't get panicked at all when people are rushing me like that.
I'm still not accustomed to grabbing health off the wall either.
Yeah.
It's just hard.
That's back from Halo 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, I played ODST. It was the same mechanic.
Yeah. Which map is Ivory Tower?
Reflection.
Oh, I love that map. Yeah. That's such a good map.
All the hardwood, man. That's just, I don't know. It's like a mansion compared to, just like a regular house. It's just gorgeous.
They said that they were able to like triple the pixels that they used between this engine and Halo 3's engine, so that's why the game looks so beautiful. Like I'm watching a video of it right now in the background, just like staring at the graphics and the glare, like the sunlight glare off the top of your gun and shit. That's like Call of Duty type engine right there. It's
the character models too, like the way that they run and like all their movements just looks a lot smoother.
I think one thing also, while we're on the topic of beta compared to the full game, the time between melees, I think they tweaked as well. Like you can't spam melee twice in a row and kill somebody really quick.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I think you can do it still a little bit quicker than Halo 3, but not, like in the beta, it was like pop, pop. Like you could melee someone real quick. And,
that's give them
props.
Yeah. I was playing tonight on Sword Base actually, and I was in awe of how much the map actually changed. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Up on the very top level across from the little attic hole in the wall. I don't know what side it is, but there's like all kinds of damage through the hallway, like some monster ran through, like some elite came through and just knocked stuff off the wall. It's a totally different looking map, and the weapon placements are different, and they got a new weapon in the center where that plasma launcher used to be. It's just, overall, to be honest, I wasn't too impressed with the beta, because I think I only played like 80 games, and I would constantly go back to Call of Duty. It's like, now I don't have the urge to do that after playing this. It's a totally different experience.
I loved it. I think, you know what, I think though there were a few contributing factors to why you had that response, which was that at the time, Modern Warfare 2, you probably weren't nearly as burnt out on it as you are now. And the other thing too is that, and Hex and I were talking about this today, but it can be really frustrating trying to get into Halo when all you're used to is Call of Duty. Or if you play Call of Duty primarily, it can be a really frustrating experience trying to learn like completely new skill sets, because you really do need totally new skill sets when you play Halo.
You gotta play.
I'm a Halo player at heart, but I mean I've been playing Call of Duty for so long. I've taken such a long break from Halo that it was just like getting into it for the first time, you know.
Yeah.
I think the other thing about the beta is that there's only 2 maps, and like I'm one of those people that if I play the same map, 3 or 4 times in one night, and let's say Modern Warfare 2, I get really pissed off, and like sometimes I'd even rage quit and try and play a different map, and it just, it got really repetitive, and there's only so
Yeah.
many different things you could do. So
Yeah. Well, they had 3 maps, but one of them was for Invasion, and I don't have too much of an interest in Invasion. It's a cool idea, but I just don't like big Halo games.
yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that. So
I didn't even try it at all.
It was all right. I mean, the one Boneyard map, I think it was, the Spartans had a significant advantage. They were perched up high with the DMR, and the elites
Yeah.
were basically stuck out in the open. So there's a lot of lopsided games with that.
They actually fixed that, a week after they released Invasion. They actually took away the DMR on the
did
top
they?
elite spawn. Yeah, Bungie does just such an incredible job to I feel like they do a really good job not getting too attached to what they've done and keeping themselves open to change their minds about stuff. Because I think oftentimes developers will become too attached to the game that they've made, and they say, "Well, you want this? Fuck you. We made it this way." And Bungie's just like, "Okay, that's not working for you guys. Cool. Let's switch this around."
Yep.
That's why the Halo games last such a long time. I mean, Halo 3 was still one of the most played games on Xbox Live, 3 years into its life.
Yeah, imagine if they only released a Call of Duty once every 3 years. I think there'd be a lot less people playing it.
COD 4 would have lasted, but none of the other ones would have.
I
I
want to
don't know if it
disagree
would
with
have
that.
lasted. Yeah, the only way it could have lasted is if they would have done consistent DLC packs and added a bunch of new playlists. But they only had one DLC pack, and they added, I think, just a few playlists like Hardcore Headquarters and I can't remember anything else off the top of my head.
Was Team Pack in the game right away?
Yeah, Team Tac wasn't in Modern Warfare 2 right away, and then
Okay.
they added that later on.
Yeah, it's
But
just they got a lot more
definitely-
time to play with. Like Bungie has, like you said, 3 years. Halo 3 was out for 3 years, so they're going to spend a lot more time after the game's released on keeping people interested in it.
Yeah.
And plus, it's the main MLG circuit event, and I'm sure Microsoft gets a ton just from having their game, or Bungie even. I guess Microsoft Studios probably gets the initial money, but just from their game being the prime competitive game, even more so than any PC games, really.
I don't know. You know what? I don't really know if MLG pays them anything, really. I think, I don't know. They might, but I mean,
Just because they advertise so much Halo shit, they're going to have to pay something. Or maybe Bungie's just like, who gives a shit, because we're going to sell more copies of our games, and just lets them do it regardless, which is probably the best way to go about it. How many kids do you think picked up Halo Reach and Halo 3 just because they saw it on MLG?
a lot. I mean, I think probably a lot more picked it up because they saw it on YouTube, which I think is pretty cool. That there are a lot of games that I wish I would have gone back and played, but I just never had exposure to it. If YouTube was around when I was 15, 16 years old, then would have been a different time altogether. Well, obviously it's a different time, but a different experience.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the hype for Modern Warfare 2 for me was definitely increased because of YouTube, because I didn't even know YouTube, the whole community existed when Call of Duty 4 was out. I was just playing the game with my friends, and that's it. I mean, I never looked at YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
And once Modern Warfare 2 was out, I mean, I was always checking videos and always looking at what was going on. So
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. My fucking cat keeps attacking my cord. No, god damn it. Get out of here.
Well,
Yeah.
question.
Have you
I
guys
had-
played single player yet?
Not at all.
No, I haven't.
no,
When my
We didn't-
internet goes down, I'll play single player.
we didn't get it 4 days in advance.
Well, when I had to, technically I was working over the weekend playing multiplayer because we're doing a little project with Microsoft, and my involvement is to focus on the multiplayer. So I haven't even really touched single player at all.
Yeah, when I play Halo single player, I want to sit down and really make an experience out of it. Like, when I play Modern Warfare or any of those games, I just breeze through it, and I'm on YouTube on the side, just checking whatever. But Halo, I really like to immerse myself. That's how I've been with Halo 2, Halo 3, stuff like that. I don't know. I just like the stories of those games.
Question I had for you guys is: did you guys play Halo since Halo 1, or what Halo got you started, or was it Halo 3?
I played Halo 2 on the regular Xbox for a couple of months, and me and my buddies would take 6 Xboxes to my buddy Zach's basement. We'd all bring TVs, and we'd LAN Halo 1 and Halo 2 all night.
Yep.
Yep, that's what I used to do back in high school. Halo 1, man. God, we used to... It was like our own little gambling scheme we had. We had to pick different people's houses, and we'd all bring our Xboxes. We got to bring our money, from doing chores or whatever that week. And we'd put it on the line in some LAN action.
That's legit.
Actually...
I played... go ahead.
I actually didn't even get into Call of Duty until like the last probably month before World at War came out. Like I didn't even know what Call of Duty was. Like I never even heard of it, basically. So
Call of Duty 2 was such an amazing game. You guys missed out.
I played it.
Yeah.
I still
it doesn't really age well, because once Sprint was introduced to that series, it's like really hard to go back to a game where you have to pull out your pistol to go faster. But it's still like the core mechanics of the game were just so simple, and that's what I miss really. It's just the simplicity. And like even though Reach is introducing all these new mechanics, I don't feel like I never really feel like the feeling of pandemonium, which is what I get when I play COD. Like I feel like everything is really calculated and tactical, and there's not, I can't really honestly say I've experienced like a oh that's bullshit moment since I've been playing Reach.
yeah, I think that's the best thing about it. Except the only complaint I have is when I play Big Team. Like in Modern Warfare 2, I always say it's the game's fault if I die. Like constantly, I'm like, man, if Nuke 2s weren't in there, Commando, blah blah blah. But in Reach, I don't have that problem. I think that that guy out BR'd me, outshot me, or DMR'd. I don't have that problem where I'm blaming the game. It's more, it's my fault because I'm not good enough at it yet, and I really love that aspect of Reach.
Yeah. Just going back, I didn't answer the question, but I played Halo 1 on PC very, very casually. Like I had it on my PC, and I would bring it to, when I was in college, I would bring it to class, my laptop, and they had Ethernet ports like in the class, and I would hook up and play Halo 1 online like in the middle of class. And that was my experience with Halo 1. I never tried to get good at it or anything. I didn't touch Halo 2, and then I played Halo 3 like literally once every couple months for a couple hours for like a year. And then only like 4 months ago did I really pick up the controller and say, okay, I want to get good at this game. And that's the other thing too about Halo. It's like, it's such a time investment. Like if you want to get good at that game, you really gotta put the time in and like really practice and take what people say to heart. Like I've literally had moments when I'm playing where I've thought to myself, oh yeah, that dude told me in this kind of situation, don't do this. And so I'd do something else, and sure enough, I would reap the benefits of it. And that really wasn't my experience with COD. You could just jump in and pick it up like pretty quickly, and it's a pretty straightforward game. And as simple as Halo 3 is, it's like there's so much behind it. There's so much going on, especially with like little things like having a decent strafe. Like I still haven't taught myself to strafe when I get in a gunfight, and it's been 4 months. So because you just don't need to play COD.
Yeah. I would have to say that Halo is the reason why I'm such an avid gamer at the moment, because going back to Nintendo 64 days, I played GoldenEye with my friends, go over and play four player split screen. And then I got like a GameCube, I think, and I would play Mario Kart with my girlfriend at the time, and who is my wife now, actually. And I never really got into gaming. And then once I went to college, freshman year, I experienced Halo LAN for the first time. Everybody was hooked up on the same network. We played it every night. And that's the reason why I got an Xbox. And ever since that time I discovered Halo 1, I've just been in love with video games. So I have Halo to blame for me being a gamer, basically.
When did you first get together with your wife? How old were you?
It was February of my senior year of high school.
Oh man, high school sweetheart.
Yep. And then we went to different colleges that were 2 hours away, and we still ended up together. So that says something about her.
Did you guys take a break when you were doing that, or did you stay together the whole time?
We took a couple breaks. Every one of them was my fault, but we did take a couple breaks.
Yeah. Breaks can be a good thing though. Like I've taken a break and gotten back together with someone, and it ended up being like way better the second time around than the first time around.
Yeah, I mean, when you take a break from somebody that you obviously love and you try to date somebody else, then it really really puts into perspective how good that other person is. If the other person you're dating isn't up to par, you're always comparing it to your ex, basically.
Yeah.
And you realize that she was the best one for you, and then you go back and you marry her.
Oh, marriage.
Yeah.
When are you getting married, John? You've been engaged for 15 years now.
We're neither of us are really in a hurry for it because it's just like whatever. We're not having a big wedding. We're just going away. So whenever we just decide we feel like going on vacation, like a long vacation, we're just going to get married and then leave and then come home and tell everybody and let them buy us shit. Like we've told both of our families that we're not having a big wedding and wherever we go, you're not invited. And then,
oh my God, my mom would kill me.
No, fuck no. Look, why am I going to spend $10,000 or something like that on a day that's about me and her to please?
You don't have
a bunch
to
of
invite
other
everybody
people?
else. You got to invite your mom at least.
I mean, if my mom wants to pay to go to the Caribbean, she can come, but I'm not paying for it.
Oh my God.
No, it's dumb.
I'm with you, John. I'm with you.
I'm not going to please a bunch of other people on a day that's about me. That's my day.
I'm not saying you have to buy a big reception hall for 300 people. I'm just saying at least have your immediate family with you to experience the day with you. Because I know that's something that parents look forward to, their kids getting married. So,
you know, here's my stance on that. It's my life. Do what I want.
yeah, true.
I mean, my mom's like, she's fine with it. Her parents and my parents both feel the same way. As long as we have a party to celebrate afterwards, they don't care.
Yeah,
Well, that's good.
They don't care if they go to a wedding. They don't care about anything. They just want us to have a reception, and I can fork out a couple $100 for a reception hall. It's fine. But Ada's always been anti-marriage, so that's kind of like strange to her still that she has a ring on her finger. And she's just.
I guess I'm just different because my parents or my mom especially is really strict Catholic. Like you got to get married, you got to have a ceremony, blah blah blah. So a little different background, I guess.
She comes from a family of 1,000 failed marriages, whereas
okay.
my parents had been married since 16 and 17. My dad was 17, my mom was 16, and they've been married ever since. They were married. Yeah, those two. Also those. But,
So real quick before we wrap up the Reach conversation, is there anything that you guys would like to see? I know I have something off the top of my head, but I want to hear what you guys have to say. Like, is there anything that immediately stands out of like, okay, that needs to be addressed?
I actually probably the same thing as you. I played a game of Oddball yesterday, and the whole team had Bubble Shield.
Yeah, that's retarded.
It pissed me off so much.
I haven't played that yet, so
Oh God, it's awful.
I guarantee you that pissed me off though.
Okay, what happens is like, and when me and a few of my friends were running, I don't know, John, were you in that party last night with me, Trump, and Murderface? No, I don't think it was you,
Nah,
but
I got off.
we were, so we did the exact same thing because I've run into it a couple times now, and there's just like nothing else that you can do besides do it yourself. But if you play Team Oddball, you get, first of all, you grab the ball and then you throw to like a corner, like a room in a corner, and then literally like all four of your teammates throw down bubble shields. And so you are surrounded in a fortress of bubble shields, and it's so colorful and bright and intense that the frame rate actually drops. Because there's just so much like woo going on at the same time. The other team they literally can't do anything. Because anytime they come in the bubble shield, you hit them with the fucking skull, and it's a one-hit kill melee. Like there's no way to combat just a fortress of bubble shields. And for that game type, it's pretty game breaking. That's the only thing that I've experience so far. Have you guys played some of the other objective games though? Like Territories or Three Plots?
Headhunter is the shit.
I've only played Slayer. That's it. Only Slayer.
I've played
I just started playing tonight.
Yeah.
The spawns on Team Snipers, by the way, that's another thing that's fucked. I was playing last night with All Sham No Wow, and he'll confirm this for you. We were playing a game of Team Snipers on Powerhouse, and I spawned with the other team at the start of the game. I spawned with them at the start of the game, and then there's the big old firefight and everything. I died. I spawned with their group of dudes again, and he spawned right behind me. So he spawned with me, and then two enemies spawned with us, like in the same exact spot. It was fucked.
Yeah, stuff like that's gonna happen. I mean, But a game like Halo, when there's so much going on, like I mean, I'm sure if they're made aware of stuff like that, they'll fix it. But some of the other objective games are like really fun, like Territories. Do you guys know how to play that game at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's from Halo 3.
Yeah, I never even played Territories before, but we played Territories on Sword Base, and that was like just a ton of fun. I ended up going like 35-11. I didn't even realize that I was doing that well. And then like 3 plots is basically like domination. Except there were more than like 3 plots though. That's what confused me. There was like 5 plots, but it was essentially the exact same game as domination and COD, and that was a lot of fun too. We played that on Reflection.
Yeah. I can't wait to get in there and play some objective games. Go ahead, Ben.
There still isn't a Team Snipers or Team SWAT playlist, correct?
Nope. There needs to
not
be
yet.
SWAT, though.
Yeah, so that's the 2 things I would like to see, because that's, like if I get sick of Team Slayer playing those objective games, I always go into Team SWAT or Team Snipers just, to work on my shot. And I was kind of upset that I didn't see those in there, so.
I would just like to see a pro playlist. So, like, give me a playlist where, like, no matter what game I start, it's always sprint, there's no radar, and you start with the DMR.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I would like to see.
Do you know if they're ever going to expand the amount of playlists in Arena, other than just having 2? Because I think that's all they have right now.
They might, like, team objective makes sense, or like doubles objective or something. But, like, it's not objective, right? It's all Slayer Pro in
Right.
Arena.
Team
okay.
Slayer and I don't know. I've never played Team Doubles. I don't know if there's any objective game types in that. Because I know that's how it was in Halo 3. You could play, Oddball. You could play. I don't think it was CTF, but I know Oddball was in Team Doubles in Halo 3. So I just haven't played it yet.
Oddball and King too. I think King was in there.
Oh yeah, King. Yep, that was the other one.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I started playing tonight, obviously, because I didn't get it at midnight last night, and I have not found one thing that really made me like, oh wait, they need to change this. So far, I'm pretty cool with it.
All right, if you had to give it an arbitrary score out of 10 so far, what would you give it?
9.25.
Oh, man.
I would say 9.5.
I'm gonna say 9.0.
I'd say 9.5 also, just because of those few things that I'd like to see. Other than that, it's like literally a perfect game for me.
Yeah, like we just talked about, there's nothing completely game-breaking that, makes me want to put in my Modern Warfare 2 or whatever Call of Duty game. Like, I'm just not, I don't get angry at it. If I get angry, it's because I suck. It's not the game's fault, so. Pretty happy.
I'm just hoping you guys, like the directors start, I'm hoping that the tides will start to shift where there's not such an emphasis on COD. We start seeing, a lot more Halo creeping up, and like, hopefully that'll like raise awareness to the viewers, and maybe the view counts will reflect that there's more games out there than COD.
Yeah, what do you guys think's gonna happen? Like, is there gonna be like a rift in the directors? Like, half of them are gonna play Halo, half of them are gonna play only Call of Duty, then only Black Ops, and never touch Halo? I mean, is it gonna split the community, the YouTube community? Because right now I think we're all pretty much similar. We do Call of Duty, occasionally Halo, and then occasionally Let's Plays whenever we get bored. I know I've seen a lot of those lately, but I know for now we're all pretty much similar. And do you think it's going to kind of split us up?
I have my thoughts, but go ahead.
Reach is going to take over for the next month or two, I think, just because it's something new. People are going to flock to whatever's new just because that's what gets people the most views, and that's what everybody does it for, apparently. And after that, Black Ops comes out directly after that, and then we'll see. You're not going to be able to tell until you see how good Black Ops is, because it's going to take a lot to top Reach, in my opinion.
Hutch had a point.
No, just go for it, dude.
I thought you said you had something to say. I don't know.
No, I do, but no, go ahead. I want to hear what you guys have to say first.
I was just going to say, like, that's one thing that bothers me on YouTube lately, that I've played with directors. I know what they think of Halo and various games, and I don't know, it just bothers me to see people putting up content that they obviously hate the game and they're only doing it for views. That's just my personal opinion. When they're deliberately shit-talking a game and then they go put up content after content of that game, it just, I don't know, something gets me. Like, you're not doing it for fun, I don't know.
I agree.
It's always been my mantra. I have fun when I make videos. So if you're not having fun, if you're playing a game to get gameplay and you're not having fun playing that game, then it's considered work. And I don't know, it's taking it the wrong way, I think.
Yeah, you bring up a valid point. I mean, there's your point is valid, and I tend to agree with you. However, some guys, and I don't personally advise this from my own experience, but some dudes in the director's program treat it like it's their job, it's their primary source, literally is their primary source of income. And if a dude can pull it off, then hey, more power to him. Like if you want to treat it like work, then you can. It's just to me, it's about it's like so redundant because I've said it so many times, but when somebody's having fun, like you can immediately tell, and that makes the video just like that much more fun to watch. So I definitely see what you're saying right there. And as far as what's going to happen in the community, my honest prediction is that once Black Ops comes out, that's going to take over again for a little while, just because even though the community is really reactionary. And so right now there's the vocal majority, and I say that because that is the majority. It's the vocal group, and it gives off the impression that everyone thinks that Modern Warfare 2 is shit. But in the long run, in the grand scheme of things, most of us have over 20 days played on the game. so it's totally impossible to. I mean, how can you justifiably say that a game is shit when you have 20 days played on it? So even though that's the consensus right now, when Black Ops comes out, I do think that's going to take over, just because
it's Call of Duty.
Call of Duty just has this magical influence of being so addicting, just incredibly addicting.
Do you think it's also because Machinima itself was kind of built around, or the whole commentating idea itself was built around Call of Duty and not, let's say, Halo?
When Respawn was launched, it was Machinima, the big channel, saw what was going on with all the commentators and decided to build a community around that. And it just happened to be that at the time that Respawn was launched was right after Modern Warfare 2 launched. And as a result, literally, if you go back and look at Machinima's earliest videos, it's basically all Call of Duty. And so I'd like to think that our base community is most, in all likelihood, Call of Duty players. But I think eventually the system the equation will balance itself out. And we're already seeing that little by little. Have you guys personally noticed that although there are a lot of COD videos on Respawn, it is that the ratio is definitely starting to even out at least a little bit. Whereas before it was 19 out of 20 videos a day would be Call of Duty. Now it's more maybe 10 to 12. And I think eventually you'll see other games come in and have their moment in the spotlight. But
other games tend to get good responses from people. My Team Fortress 2 video that I sent to Respawn was it didn't get a shitload of views, but everybody who watched it loved it just because it was something different.
And that's awesome. I think that Sark even said that his vision for Respawn is that you should be able to go to Respawn, type in any game, and see a gameplay video on there. I saw a fucking iPhone gameplay commentary on Respawn pop up a couple weeks ago. I was like, what? So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, as much as I'd like to see the Reach get its fair share of video time after Black Ops comes out, I think Black Ops is going to take over, like you guys said. But only time will tell.
Speaking of Black Ops, some fucking cocksucker got to play it.
That's a nice little segue. Yeah. I got to play the game. I mean, you guys saw the gameplay. I want to know what you guys think.
You're terrible.
Okay, well, the gun game. Oh man. Okay, you know what? Let me just say the gun game gameplay was so bad. The one that's on Machinima right now. And it's because when I sat down to play it, my headphones weren't working, so I had no sound in my headphones, and I was just running around. When I had the sniper, I missed 17 shots until finally I got another shot, but I had no audio in my headphones, and I had people talking to me left and right. And then the TDM game, the one where I'm using the FAMAS, my headphones were working, and I ended up just going to town, and I went 20-4 or something like that, or 17-4. But yeah, what did you guys think of the gameplay?
I'll go.
Not the gameplay, the game.
The game, well, going back to my computer graphics thing. Visually, it looks amazing. I think it looked beautiful. And secondly, I love that the guns actually have recoil again. I don't know, like, since you played it, if you felt that at all. I guess some people were talking about that. But just having guns, having recoil once again, I think is going to be a big selling point for me. Because, the straight shooters like the ACRs, man, it just, I don't know. It just bothers me a little bit, so.
Standard Treyarch map design. It's gorgeous.
Yep.
A lot of emphasis on elevation, because that's like Treyarch is all about like, for whatever reason they're all about like 2 or 3 story maps, and there was a lot of emphasis on like vantage points and elevation, and Treyarch maps are also a lot more traditionally like a lot more close quarters. If you take away World at War big maps like the tank maps, all the other maps that didn't have tanks were there, like it was a lot of like tight close quarters stuff. And so I think snipers might have a little bit more hard, like a kind of a hard time in Black Ops, a harder time than COD 4, just purely based on that sort of map design. But I like it.
Yeah, I would have to agree. The maps look beautiful. The graphics looked awesome. Nothing looked too overpowered from what I saw. I mean, I watched several different gameplays. I watched gun game. I watched standard stuff, like one in the chamber, stuff like that. It all looks really fun. The COD points thing, I don't know if that was around, if that was done before this whole reach thing was introduced, like the credits. It seems like they're going down the same type of route where you have to buy your stuff now. But I think that's a pretty cool route to go, because no longer do you have to grind to get that AK-47 at level 70. I mean, if you want that, you can unlock it once you get enough money for it. So it's a really cool way to treat multiplayer,
Actually, just to correct you real quick, there are levels in the game. There is XP, but you can't. Your XP isn't your currency, and your XP gets you up to certain levels. And once you get to, like, for example, the bolt action sniper, you weren't allowed to purchase it unless you got to level 27 first. So they do keep some guns locked until you get to a certain level. But once you unlock that gun, you can spend your credits on whatever attachment you want immediately. So you don't have to get, like fucking FMJ, like 50 bullet penetration kills with FMJ to get extended mags. You can just purchase it right off the bat.
I guess I misunderstood that, but glad to know that I can unlock my noob tube first.
Yeah. Noob tubes are back in the game. But I mean, it's like they don't have one-man armies out, and I'm pretty sure the equivalent of Danger Close is out too. I did not see a single perk that, in fact, I'm almost positive there's not a single perk that gives you greater explosive damage. And Scavenger doesn't replenish your explosives.
Okay.
It's so hot.
One thing I was noticing, like, throughout the community before this actual reveal event was all the rumors about the knife being a secondary weapon, but then once the reveal trailer dropped, I saw people knifing like old Call of Duty. So, I mean, a lot of people were excited about that, the knife being a secondary weapon. But I think the knife is an integral part of Call of Duty, and I think it will never change. One thing that I think should change, though, is they should make the tactical layout the default, and that would do away with a lot of panic knife that people run into. But I think that would make the game a lot more friendly, a lot less rage-inducing.
You're talking about the default melee knife? People thought that was going to be a secondary?
No. Yeah. The default melee knife, like you click the stick and you melee. That was going around. I don't know. People I talked to were talking about it being a secondary weapon.
Yeah, I heard that too.
And like the ballistic knife being a secondary and all that other stuff. But I think
the ballistic is a piece of special equipment. It's like the crossbow, the ballistic knife, I can't even think of the
Claymore.
other two. There were 2 other ones. Yeah, I think a Claymore and then like a motion tracker, the camera. The Tomahawk, yeah, is that a piece of equipment?
It's like a throwing knife.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I knew it was in the game. I couldn't remember what kind of slot that it went towards.
I just think it would be cool to have the tactical layout be the new default, because I think that it plays better, like the game plays better that way, and it's a lot less noob friendly. I guess you gotta have skill you gotta actually think about reaching over and hitting B, and not just mashing on the right joystick whenever you get scared. But I don't know, that's something I noticed.
They did have a fucking flamethrower attachment for the assault rifle.
Did you use that?
I pulled it out and I sprayed it around a little bit just to see what it looked like, and then like I really.
Hey, what about the flamethrower?
Oh wow!
Yeah. So what'd you do with the flamethrower?
So, anyways, I tested it out to see like the range, and it was basically identical to Call of Duty World at War, except it wasn't unlimited. Like you had these like fuel caps or fuel gels or whatever. And, like, it'll run out eventually. So if you use it a bunch and then it has to like reset or whatever, you've used one fuel gel and then you have to like wait for it to reset and then you only have one more left. So you can't just run around like doing unlimited flamethrowers. I mean, really it's no different than like a shotgun. You know what I mean? Or just like spraying and praying with a submachine gun. So I don't think people should be too worried about it. I mean, you all experienced the flamethrower in World of War. I mean, we all like were sort of like panicky about that when we first heard about it. But then when you actually saw it, it wasn't really overpowered in my opinion.
What about the dual mags and the extended mags? I noticed there were two different attachments. What's the difference there?
I think it's the same. I think it's the same thing.
Oh, okay. So whenever I saw your class creation video, and there was two different things. You could buy dual mags and you could buy extended mags.
Really? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
See, when we were capturing that, I just wanted to get as much as I could. I didn't really look at it because I figured I'd review it later, and then I didn't go over it with like a fine-tooth comb or anything. I don't know. I didn't see the difference. I didn't purchase. It was cool because at the live event they gave us like basically limitless credits, so we could purchase like basically anything we wanted. But I didn't get a chance to try that out now.
It just worries me with like somebody running around with the M60 with dual mags and extended mags having like 400 rounds in the clip.
I mean, so you're saying that those were two attachments that you could put on the same gun?
Yeah. I mean, I can try to pull up the video and try to find it, but I could have sworn I saw it. Like one of them was at the top. I think the dual was at the top and the extended was at the bottom of the list.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't notice that. I mean, technically they do have they have a bling, like the equivalent of a bling perk, I think.
Yeah, they do.
So if you can put dual mags and extended mags, that should be interesting.
Yeah.
You guys didn't see any gameplay from the submachine guns, or hardly any, I don't think. And the submachine guns, like, it had so much bounce. Like, it was like, it was as if, like, they took every single comment that they had about the, negative comment that they had about the MP40 in World of War, and, like, they all had a meeting and, like, they just said to themselves, okay, we get it. We need to add recoil to these guns. And so, like, now you run around with an MP5, and it's like, the gun that I was using, it was the MP5, and it was basically the same sort of, like bounce as the MP5K in Modern Warfare 2. I didn't get a chance, I got a chance to play with, one other submachine gun, and it was like fucking terrible. Like so much bounce, like all over the place. I had a silencer attached to it, so maybe it plays better without a silencer, and maybe that was just in the context, but I immediately was like, alright, fuck that. So, I mean, that should be good to know for those of you that were worried about, like, UMP or MP40 style, submachine guns going on.
The MP40 had a lot of recoil. It was so forgiving with the hitbox, and the damage was so high. That's why it was so powerful.
And with stopping power is a one-hit headshot. And so, like, when you were no, you know what the thing is though? The recoil wasn't that bad at all when you had steady aim and when you were just hip firing. Like, it was so forgiving. Like, you could treat it like a BR in Halo. You could get somebody mid-range just by hip firing. That's what the MP40 was really bad for.
Another thing I was curious about, I know it's probably hush-hush, and I don't know if you even saw anything or heard anything about it, but the zombie mode. That has been confirmed, obviously, because of the Hardened and Prestige editions comes with the 4 maps from Call of Duty World at War.
Technically, that hasn't been confirmed yet. Technically.
Oh, just the old maps have been confirmed?
They have been confirmed. I've seen about that.
Treyarch, their official statement is that it hasn't been confirmed. And a lot of people are taking, like when they interviewed Josh Olin at the event, somebody interviewed him, they asked him, should we expect some zombies or should we expect some other things? His response at the time was, we're basically showing you guys everything tonight. So some people took that as like, wait, maybe there's not zombies, maybe they pulled the plug on that, maybe they don't have enough resources right now. Because
basically.
Yeah, I don't know. They were kind of vague about it, so I don't know if I would necessarily say 100% that you're definitely going to get zombies in Black Ops. Obviously, we would all love to see it. But Treyarch, to my knowledge, at this point, hasn't confirmed that yet.
So they were hush about it at the reveal.
They were definitely hush about it. They were definitely hush about a beta. Like, I asked a girl, like, that worked there, this really nice girl with, like, a mohawk and a septum nose ring or whatever, that demoed the game for us at E3 and in Germany, too. I can't remember her name, but she was cool. But I asked her about the beta. I said, is there going to be a beta? Are you guys announcing anything? And she said, well, you guys have an interview later. You can, and she kind of smiled a little bit. So, I don't know. Like, obviously nothing was announced. So,
I think she was smiling at you.
Saw that lip ring.
I doubt it for reasons that I'm not going to mention on the podcast, but I doubt it.
I think that would be, I don't know, that would throw a whole nother thing in the equation if Black Ops released a beta right now because of Reach just coming out, and everybody's jumping on the Reach bandwagon like we were talking about earlier. Like,
it'd be a good way to combat sales.
Yeah, it would definitely throw a wrench in the equation.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Call of Duty and one of the biggest FPS franchises ever is releasing a game 2 months before you, like, when would you release a beta? Like, probably around that time. So if you had to ask me, and this is with someone with no insider knowledge, I was like, Grizz himself actually contacted me and asked me, oh, what's going on with, like, Machinima getting beta codes for Black Ops and giving it out to the directors? Like, apparently that rumor is going around right now, and it's totally false. We haven't heard anything about a beta. So, more clarification on that. But it would make sense to me if they dropped zombies, and I'm not saying they have, but it would make sense to me just because they added so much to the game. Like, did you guys see that they have bots now? Like, if you're just getting into COD and you never played multiplayer, you can warm up with bots now, which I think is totally cool. I'm probably never going to use them, but I think, like, if I was just starting out, like, I would love to play with bots for a little bit to get my handle on the game.
That's a good idea. Do you know how expansive that's going to be? Like, what all you can do with that?
Then rank up, I know that much.
I know the rank is separate from Xbox Live rank.
Yeah.
It's similar to split screen on Modern Warfare 2, where you have different class setups and stuff like that.
I don't know. I can't. If they said anything, I don't remember. I mean, they said a lot. Like, they packed us. First, we get to this, like, it was done at this, like, aviation museum in LA. So we show up and there's, like, really hot girls with, like, short skirts trying to hand everybody drinks and stuff. And then they herd you into this huge theater, and they basically, like, spent 30 minutes walking us through all the new features on a big screen. And there was, like, a lot of info. I was on Twitter that night, like, tweeting as much as I possibly could, as fast as I could. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of info on there. They had some crazy fucking kill streaks. Did you see, like, I can't remember what they were called, like the Death Machine or like the Grim Reaper or something like that, where, like, one of them is like a semi-auto RPG, and you're basically enclosed in this case like the Juggernauts from Spec Ops missions. So you just run around with a semi-automatic RPG. I think you can only get it from a care package. You can't pre-select it or designate it as a kill streak. And then the other one was it was the same idea. So you're in this suit like the Juggernaut from Spec Ops missions, and you have a chain gun. So you're just running around with a fucking chain gun, like going crazy, like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator 2.
That is sick.
I did see the chain gun.
I'm really excited that kill streaks don't build upon each other. I think that's going to be amazing. Because, like, now Predator doesn't equal Harrier equal Chopper Gunner anymore. So I think that's going to be pretty awesome. I think a little more skill to get the higher kill streaks. Some people might not be able to get them anymore. So I don't know. I think that's going to be pretty awesome.
I managed to get a Chopper Gunner, and it was totally different from the Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer Chopper Gunner. The Chopper Gunner in Black Ops is the Chopper Gunner that you got in the Spec Ops missions in Modern Warfare 2 when you're escorting a dude through Burger Town. So you're up in a helicopter on a chain gun, and the red squares that indicate where the enemies are literally, like, tiny. They're like 1/4 the size of the red squares from Modern Warfare 2. So you really got to squint your eyes and, like, find them. And you don't get, like, thermal vision when you're up there. It's just a straight up top down view. Once you did find a guy, it was like, if you saw them, they were dead. It wasn't hard to kill them, but it was noticeably, like, more I don't know, balanced than Modern Warfare 2's Chopper Gunner.
Would you
Without the thermal, I think it'll be harder to be cold-blooded. Because the thermal really, if you were cold-blooded and somebody had thermal, you really had to squint your eyes and kind of check for movement. Like I'm like a thermal sniper or something like that. I always had a hard time hitting people that use cold-blooded with a thermal sniper. So without the thermal vision, it might be easier to see those guys that are wearing cold-blooded.
I don't know, dude, because you're really fucking high up on that chopper
are you?
gun.
Okay.
Like if you don't, yeah, I don't quote me, but I think you're like twice as high up on that chopper gunner. So if they have cold-blooded and you don't see like a red square, it's going to be like really difficult to kill somebody. And now that they've taken out stopping power, I think half the people playing that game are going to be rocking Ghost, which is the equivalent of UAV jammer cold-blooded.
Yep.
I'm just glad the slots are balanced now. Like no Marathon and Ninja together is the greatest thing ever.
True.
Are you sure?
That.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Are you sure about that?
Yep, they're both in the same perk slot, Marathon and Ninja. They're in the third slot. Yep.
Huh. See, I had heard a long time ago that they weren't bringing lightweight back, and that Marathon was no longer unlimited sprint, but Marathon Pro is unlimited sprint.
Adam said that he thought it was just extreme conditioning. Or is that just regular
Marathon by itself is extreme conditioning, but if you looked at the Pro add-on, you could see that it was unlimited sprint. Like, cause it tells you what the Pro add-on for that perk is that you need to purchase or that you need to unlock or whatever.
Is there a perk that allows you to climb faster, like Marathon Pro and Modern Warfare 2? Did you see that at all? Okay.
I don't think so.
That was one thing I really liked about Marathon Pro, because climbing over stuff faster is definitely good.
Well, I mean, just like the fact that I think that taking out stopping power just like changes it so much, because like when you guys watched that like FAMAS gameplay that I did, I mean, it took a few bullets to kill people. It was nothing like Modern Warfare 2, and that's just like, I'm fucking stoked about that. I think that's awesome.
Gotta be on target a little bit longer.
It's like COD 2. That's what made COD 2 so amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we've talked about it, but I've been talking about it for like over a year now. Like, I'd really just rather they just got rid of stopping power and Juggernaut altogether, and like give us the freedom to explore other perks, because really, I mean, like cold-blooded to a certain degree is used a lot in Modern Warfare 2, but for the most part, it's just like I just run with stopping power because it's just that's like clearly the best perk for me.
And if you don't have it, you can get outgunned so fast.
Yeah, totally.
So
it always works for you too. I mean, you shoot your gun, it works for you. You use hardline, you actually have to get kills in order for that to work for you. Cold-blooded, I mean, I guess that's always working for you too, but you don't get the bullet damage boost.
It's like sprint and reach. We didn't even talk about like what our favorite armor ability was, but I think that
sprint.
Yeah, I think sprint is like clearly the dominant ability, because there's never a situation where sprint can't help you out, basically. Like if you're rushing to a guy or rushing away from a guy or rushing to the objective, like sprint can basically always help you, whereas armor lock it's awesome, but it's limited, and like camo has its drawbacks too. And yeah,
one thing that I was having fun with tonight was hologram. I was laughing my ass off at throwing my hologram in front of me and watching guys go after him and try to kill the hologram while I kill them. So I was having a lot of fun with it.
Hologram in Team Snipers is so epic. I love it. I just send my little hologram out into the middle, see where they're shooting from, and then I start picking them off.
I haven't used it at all.
Neither have I. I have no interest in hologram. I think it's dumb, to be honest with you.
It's good for lots of lulls, but that's about it.
If you guys play Team Snipers, definitely try it out, because I noticed, people might catch on because the guy kind of like shimmers, I guess you could say, but you can tell it's a hologram. But some people, they do shoot at it and, kind of give away their position, so I think it's a tactical advantage.
Okay, so basically, just to summarize, after playing the game, I really left with the feeling that Black Ops, god damn it, just so you guys at home know, we recorded like 15 minutes more after this, but Bendro's call dropped, and we didn't realize that he was the one recording the podcast. And so we're definitely repeating ourselves here, but we're going to try and make it sound organic for you. But Black Ops was, for me, it felt like the game that Modern Warfare 2 should have been. And obviously, like, it's up to the community to decide if it's balanced, and that's really going to involve like getting in there and playing it for hours and like, you know, checking out all the different guns and perks and all the different combinations. And so we'll see, like, in the end, if the game is balanced. That's just going to take time to figure out. There's no way to say, like, right up front after playing the game for a few hours. But from what I did play, I was definitely left with the feeling of, okay, I can get back into Call of Duty with this game. And that's what I have to say about that.
And Dix.
Yeah, so we also decided that we weren't talking about penis enough, so we're going to dive into a sex topic here. Mr. Dysfunction on Twitter says, talk about your first time you had sex and how long you lasted. #Essendies. So who wanted to start that one out? I think it was Hutch that started it out the last time.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go into the story again for you guys. So, I was 17 years old. I had very little experience with like anything involving my private parts or a girl's private parts. Some, but very not much at all. And at the time, I was like sneaking over to my ex-girlfriend's house, and like, you know, it took like a couple months before we were finally like, all right, let's get this party started. You know, I'll bring condoms next time, yada yada yada. And so I showed up at her house, and you know, as far as like how long did it take me the first time I had sex, like my answer would be infinitely, because every time I put on a condom, it was like shrink wrap, and my boner was just immediately gone, and it was horrible. As soon as I was able to like squirm it in there and like wiggle it around for a minute, I could like legitimately call that sex, and I could be like, all right, I'm not a virgin. I lost my virginity before prom. All I care about. I don't want to go to college. And then, you know, like, after that, she went on the pill, and we were like monogamous, and so we started having some condomless sex, and that's like an entirely different ballpark altogether.
Yeah.
And John, we already talked about it, but you were saying that condoms are horrible, and they're like the end all be all, and you just rather not do it. But I will say that there are a few tips, a few tricks when you're having sex with a condom. If you put a little lube inside the condom before you put that shit on, like, it makes it feel like probably twice as good as just a condom without any lube in there. So, some condom pro tips from Hutch.
I definitely have to agree with you. As I said before, condoms they weren't my friend back when I first started having sex. And I was like, is this really it? Is this really all it's supposed to feel like? And it was kind of that situation. But my first experience was kind of awkward. I was at my friend's father's house, and his parents were actually divorced. His dad lived with his other wife, and they had a daughter. So it was my friend's stepdaughter, and we were in her room, which was also my friend's blood sister's room. So they shared the room, and I was in his sister's bed, and it was really awkward. Like I was saying before, the condom really wasn't adding anything to the equation, and I was just like, let's get this over with. We gotta really do something else. It was just, I don't know. It wasn't, honestly, my first sex experience. I was like, is that it?
Yeah.
And until I did it without a condom, then I really discovered. But as Hutch was saying before, I don't know if this was recorded or not, but sex can be fun with a condom. You just gotta know what you're doing, really.
Well, I said before too that it gets better when you get older because you just get more comfortable. And so, like, now if I put on a condom, it's like I don't feel weird about it. It's like it's just what you do when you're an adult and you want to have sex with someone that you don't, you've never had sex with.
That you don't care about at all.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That you just maybe you don't know that well, or maybe like you haven't seen their AIDS test or something, like in person or something like that. But yeah. I told her I would give her a shout out on the podcast. I'm not gonna call her by name, but like I have a friend up in Sonoma County, and like every once in a while we like just casually have sex, and it's like this like really no strings attached thing. And like the other day, like when I put on a condom, and I had that experience of like literally 5 seconds into it, and I'm like. I feel weird repeating this, but like you guys know the experience of you're getting down to business, and all of a sudden like you reach critical mass, and you're like, don't move, don't move. And she said okay, and then she did this little like tiny little subtle gyration, and I was like, you moved, I'm going for it now. I am at the point of no return. I apologize for the abrupt nature of this encounter, but you get what you get when I told you not to move and you gyrated, so. It doesn't happen often, but it happens to the best of us. That's all I'm gonna say.
Must put a little extra lube inside on that time.
Oh, there was no lube in there that time. It was just straight, straight.
Hutch,
But we're
Hutch
like
doesn't
totally.
get laid very often, in case you guys didn't know.
Shut the fuck up. You don't know my life, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, you want me to go next?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, so it was in high school. My at the time girlfriend, we really hadn't done too much stuff. We went to go see a movie. God, I really wish I remember what movie it was, but there's this awesome sex scene in it. And she grabs my hand in the middle of the movie. She's like, "We got to try this when we get out to the car." I was like, "Okay, sounds like a plan to me." So after the movie, I'm kind of excited because I don't know exactly what she's talking about or what she had in mind. But we get down to business, and I did not last more than, I would say, 30 seconds. That
was your first encounter?
Was it a car? That's badass.
In a car, in the parking lot of a movie theater.
That's legit. That's legit.
Were you her first time?
Yes. It was
Clearly
both of
not.
us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
God damn.
That's awesome.
No,
That's like
I really
that's
wish.
like something out of a high school movie where like the guy's trying to lose his virginity the entire movie,
Yeah, well, she, I really wish I remember what movie it was, but I mean, it was just like, she got really turned on by it, I guess, and, went to town in the car, and history from there. We broke up 2 weeks later, so there you go.
Oh, that's rough. That's an awesome first sex story. I would definitely take pride in that.
What about yours, John? If you haven't.
Mom was in a bed. Now I feel shitty. I should have went before that. But so it was my senior year. My senior year in high school. I was a late one. I was a nice guy in high school.
That's when mine was, senior year.
Well, most of my buddies were like banging chicks when they were like 15. It might have been my junior year. I think it was my junior year. Yeah. So I was 16 or 17. But I go into my anatomy class and I'm like, "Where's my seat at?" And I sit down and then this real hot girl sits next to me. And I was like, "Hey, I've seen this girl in the hallway. She's dating this big bulky dude that could kick the shit out of me." So I didn't add this the first time we talked about it, but she wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, so she cheated off of me all the time. And apparently me being smart turned her on a little bit. So she started flirting with me and stuff, and I was like, "Gotta stop that. Your boyfriend's real hot." And then, she started rubbing my arm one day and like rubbing my leg and shit. I was like, "Yep, gonna fuck you." So she ends up breaking up with this dude, and he wasn't real happy about that. And what also made him not very happy is that he had been dating her for years and hadn't slid up in that, so to speak. And I was with her for about 2 weeks, and I nailed her on her brother's bed, and I lasted about 8 seconds. But I was so excited. See, I didn't fail because I was so excited that I was able to keep mass and go to town again. And I was like a good half hour, 45 minutes. It's probably the best I've ever done even since then. And first experience without a condom was in her butthole about 2 weeks after that. I like butt sex.
Oh man.
Butt sex is awesome.
We are fucking infants, man. As soon as somebody says, "I put it in your butt," all of us at the same time.
Butt sex is awesome. Anybody who's had butt sex will tell you that it's awesome. Hutch has had butt sex, and he loves it.
The only time I've ever done it is by accident, and it ended up in her crying and me not finishing, so we've never done it since then.
How's that even possible to accidentally put it in your butt? Because like the second peen is starting to go in her butt, she has to be immediately.
Well, it
aware
wasn't
of
the whole thing. It was just the tip.
Just the tip, just for a minute,
But
just to see how it feels.
Without being too vulgar and explaining what exactly was going on, it was. I don't really know how to word this. It was just going fast and furious, and all of a sudden it went out one hole and the other, and that was it. I was.
Oh my god!
Off limits from then on out. It was like.
God.
It was only just the tip, but still, it was enough to be like, "What the hell's going on?" And she was like, instantly smacked me and started crying. So
that's horrible.
You must have like a huge wiener for her to be crying from just a tip.
Well, we've never done that before, so she's not used to things going in.
Her shithole.
Yeah.
Oh.
I can't imagine it being pleasant for a woman, but any woman who does it is a trooper in my eyes. Guys, I'm going to break my high score on Geometry Wars while I'm talking on the podcast, so get on my level.
What's it at right now?
I'm at like 60 million right now, but I'm in absolutely no danger of dying.
You're in the zone.
I'm in the zone, the auto zone.
I'm terrible at that game. Beyond terrible.
You just got to play a lot like Hutch did.
I might. Sam's
40
still got
hours.
it, though.
Yeah.
40 hours?
You said you played the game like 40 hours in a couple weeks' time.
Easily.
Fuck, 110 million. You motherfucker.
Easily.
I don't have the patience for it. I can't stand all those bright lights.
The game's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Let's find one more interesting topic from somebody. People, you guys are so lame. All you do is tell us to talk about dicks and stuff, and there's only so much I can say about penis. Like seriously, every other topic is just talk about dicks. And what do you want me to talk about?
I'm personally in favor of calling it a wrap right now. After that debacle of having to redo that, we've already been talking for like an hour and a half. I got to be the party pooper.
Yeah,
I'm just throwing that out there.
I want to play Halo, so go fuck yourselves.
That's what I really mean on the inside, is that I just really want to play Halo.
Yeah, so we're going to go play Reach. I hope you guys enjoyed us fucking up this podcast. It was entirely because Brennan wasn't here because he's whipped. And, yeah. What else to say? My name is John. Goodbye. I'm gay. Fuck off.